Hello and welcome back to PIHOA Network, your guide to the fascinating post-independence history of Africa. I am your host Lilian Wambura. Today, we are diving into the heart of the continent to explore the Central African Republic, often referred to as the land of the fleeting butterflies. But why this whimsical nickname? Stick around to find out as we unravel the tumultuous journey of this nation since gaining independence. The Central African Republic, formerly known as Ubangishari, is a landlocked country in Central Africa. It is bordered by Chad to the north, Sudan to the northeast, South Sudan to the east, the Democratic Republic of the Congo to the south, the Republic of the Congo to the southwest, and Cameroon to the west. As from the 17th century, the territory was connected to external trade routes. These were namely Trans-Saharan and Nile River trade routes through which Arab slave traders took African captives. These captives were taken southwards towards the Atlantic coast or northwards towards the Middle East. By the end of the 19th century, slave trade was abolished and the French took control of the area. It was named French Congo and later French Equatorial Africa. After the Second World War, the clamor for independence gained momentum. In 1946, Barthélemy Boganda from Ubangishari was elected to the French National Assembly. His party Social Evolution Movement of Black Africa, MESAN, took control of the Territorial Assembly in 1957. Boganda died in a plane crash in 1959, and his cousin David Dacko took control of MESAN. He became the first president after independence from France on 13th August 1960. Dacko established an authoritarian regime and frustrated opposition activities. Abel Gumba, a critic and former prime minister who left MESAN to form another party, went into exile in France. In 1962, MESAN was declared the sole political party. Due to economic decline and soaring national debt, Dacko was overthrown in 1965 by Jean Bedel Bokassa. Bokassa abolished the constitution and dissolved legislature. In 1975, he appointed Elizabeth Domitian, the first female prime minister in sub-Saharan Africa. This was also the United Nations International Women's Year. Due to the country's vast diamond resources and potential for uranium, France supported him. He declared himself president for life in 1972, then went ahead to proclaim himself emperor of the Central African Empire. A lavish coronation ceremony, largely financed by France, was held in 1977. A decree made by Bokassa in 1979 that all children purchase school uniforms from a company owned by one of his wives led to protests. Following these protests, the government applied excessive force, killing over 100 children. Coincidentally, the United Nations had set aside 1979 to be commemorated as the International Year of the Child. This was a disgrace to Bokassa and his government. Concerns by the international community led France to instigate a coup against Bokassa the same year. David Dacko was brought back to power. With the removal of Bokassa, the country reverted back to its former name, Central African Republic. Dacko was not popular this time round and had to rely on the French to protect his regime. His government was removed again in a military coup led by General André Colomba in 1981. Colomba suspended the constitution and ruled with a military junta. Through a referendum, a new constitution was promulgated in 1986. Following the adoption of the new constitution, democracy was implemented in piecemeal. It was not until 1992 that a free and fair election were held. Ange Felix Patasse won in the second round of voting. His party Movement for Liberation of the Central African People, MLPC, did not achieve absolute majority. A decrease in confidence against Patasse's administration led to mutinies. The Bangui Agreements, signed in January 1997, was aimed at restoring law and order. Election followed in 1998, and Patasse won a second term. An unsuccessful coup attempt followed in May 2001. Later, Bozize staged a successful coup in 2003. He suspended the constitution and renamed a new government. A new constitution provided for democratic elections in 2005, in which Bozize won the presidency. External factors crept in, with the conflict in neighboring Sudan spilling over to north of the country and to the south. A Ugandan rebel group, Lord's Resistance Army, had sought refuge. In 2012, Selka, an Islamic rebel formation, became active. A peace deal between Selka rebels implemented in 2016 collapsed. Bozize fled the country, and Michel Djotodia, a rebel leader, took power. Djotodia established an interim government which struggled to restore law and order. The mainly Christian civilian population formed militia known as Ant-Balaka to protect them against pro-government Muslim militia. In January 2014, the Central African regional leaders convinced Djotodia's government to resign. Catherine Samba-Panza took over as interim president. Samba-Panza's government approved a new constitution in December 2015. Elections were held, and Faustin Archange Touadera won in the second round. Despite all these efforts, the country remains politically unstable, since various militia groups are still operating within its borders. Thus, the Central African Republic suffers a mineral curse, like many other well-endowed countries in Africa. The Central African Republic is often referred to as the land of the fleeting butterflies. This nickname stems from the optimism of independence to the trials of political upheaval. This nation's story is a testament to the resilience of its people. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more captivating tales from Africa. Until next time, please don't forget to subscribe to keep Bihoa alive. Thank you.